I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog.
And welcome back to Said Connects. This is Steven Contreras with my boy Danny. You are now tuning into part 2 of the Steven Contreras Show. No, I'm just kidding. Of my episode, but I should keep that, dude. We're just keep running this. Like, yeah, man. Like, I was off the dome too. Think about it, but yeah, man.
But Said Connects. Cannabis Entrepreneurial Dialogues. Go ahead, kick it.
Yeah. This is a podcast, a platform for people of color, brands of color, and cannabis entrepreneurs in this crazy cannabis industry. We share stories. We, share lessons. Sometimes we complain, but it's always in good spirit. But we have talked about my experience with cancer, becoming an amputee, the LBCA, chronic Long Beach, and we're going to dive back into the rest of it.
Yeah, man. And you know what, bro? I think after this episode, I think people are going to be like, bring Steven back. And you're going to have to be the co-host, I think, after this.
There's a few people that I would be down because, like, I know their story and I can dig. Like, there's some people who have, like, shared gems with me. I mean, like, lessons that they've gone through that I will never forget because I don't want to spend $20,000 on a fee or on a fine or go to jail or whatever the fuck it may be. So I listen to people, and so, like, we have a guest, whether this comes out before or after, but I really want to sit down with George, a lottery winner, and
oh yeah, that's happening.
Really break that down.
That for sure. And for you guys watching for the first time, this is part 2 of last week's episode. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure to do so at Said Connects. Follow us on Instagram at CED_Connects for more updates, for previous clips, all the clips made by Oh That's Filthy and Stephen J in the building here. But we're trying something new this time. We're playing around with our show. We're playing around with how we can get more content. How can we get more viewers? So let us know what y'all think about how we split this up. And just a little like thought process. I was fucking sitting watching Netflix. And I was watching the Physical show, that Physical 100
Bro,
show.
I love that show. I binged that show.
So, but I watched it a few months ago, and I don't know if you guys, I'm sure if you watch it now, the full season is there.
Yeah.
But the way that Netflix is now doing their shit, which is fucking genius, is they're pushing out 2, 3, 4 episodes at a time, and then it'll say, more.
That's the thing that bothered me, is that they cut it like in the middle of like a fucking not a battle, but like one of the events in the middle, and I'm like, why do you do that?
Yeah,
but I tuned in the very next one, so hopefully it works. Hopefully.
And so that got the ideas flowing. I was like, you know what? Let's give that shit a shot. Let's fucking cut it somewhere in the middle of this episode and make y'all come back to listen to the rest. So we're glad you're here.
Thank you
to watch this the second half of.
Hopefully I can serenade your ears.
Absolutely. But so being a part of the LBCA and active members are licensee owners and holders, is that how the connection with Chronic then came to play?
Yeah, so the founder of the LBCA is Adam Hijazi. He founded Long Beach Green Room, which is the very first dispensary in Long Beach. And then one of the co-founders of the LBCA, the president, vice president, they go back and forth, is Greg Leffian. He founded and is CEO at Chronic Pain Relief Center, now doing Chronic Long Beach. And after about a year with the LBCA, I was doing social media, I was doing videos, I was community outreach, I was marketing. Right. And he goes, hey man, like, do you want to come work for me? Like, we're growing. Again, this is in late 2018, early 2019. Like, we're growing. We could bring you on. We could minimum do social media. Like, they're just like trying to get me to help out. And, I jumped in and I helped out wherever they needed me to. Like, supposed to start off as social media. I ended up filling in at HR. I ended up hiring like 7 to 8 different people that were there for like 2 to 3 years. And it's been great. I love it. I'm currently now the marketing manager. Might be switching different positions just for growth and it's a great thing. It's a family business through and through. The owners are operators. They're there. And that's why I kind of give everything I give, because I know the people who are not only taking care of me, because they do provide my paycheck, but they care about everyone else, and they give a fuck about the patients. That's like a big thing. A lot of dispensaries don't give a fuck about the patient. They just come in, come out, in and out. You're selling this as a bud tender. You're selling this, doesn't matter. This is the promotion. This is this. And cannabis, not cannabis, chronic, we have a very big policy, which is you don't force a product on anyone. You come in and you give them what they want. We're providing the best alternative to pharmaceutical drugs that we can. Right. It's not just about slinging weed. So, and that's again why I fell in love with it. And then, they allowed me to do what I wanted as long as it was in the parameters. Like, I've heard no a lot, but I haven't heard like, yo, you're doing something wrong. This is bad. This is this. And if they do, it's always respectable, and they tell me why or like this. And so it's been great. I love it. My wife worked there for 2 years as well. She ran the inventory, and again, family through and through. It's been awesome. I've done everything from designing flyers that you see on Weed Maps, taking pictures, to filming videos with our sponsored athletes, to designing shirts that are like this, to collaborating for takeovers with like Khalifa Kush, Dr. Green Thumb, Insane, Plug Play, like all of these things. And it's, again, it is great for my career. I love it. I understand it. And I'm just blessed.
Where do you see yourself in this industry within the next 6 months to a year, given all the different changes that's going on within the state of the industry now? And I say this short period because there's so much fucking changes that are going on.
Changes every day, every week. It's all different.
We can't even really project 5 years from now.
So I was gonna say, if it's 5 years, I can't tell you. I have no fucking clue. No, not at all. I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea. Don't even ask what I'm doing in 2 weeks.
Right.
No, I love the cannabis space. I definitely, we had a guest on here, Jake, and he was like, if I only did cannabis, I'd probably go insane. Like, there's other areas that can add to my professional development, and that's what I'm all about. So if there's other opportunities to develop more professionally, or learn a new skill set, or lead a new department, like I'm all for it. I don't, like I said, don't plan on leaving. And I definitely, I need to say this out loud, just because I think a lot of people don't understand this in the space. When you find a company that is good, and communication is good, and respect is good, even if pay isn't there, or even if fucking whatever isn't there, you're not going to find a better home somewhere else in the industry right now. A lot of places right now are very temporary in the cannabis space. If you find people who you fuck with and you vibe with and you build with and you're willing to stick it out, that is going to benefit you significantly more. Like, I got boys at CBX. They've been slanging weed for the CBX family since they were 15 years old. Like, they've been their gang, and that's kind of what it is. Like, you got to be gang, you got to be family. The trust has got to be there, and you can't take shit so personal.
Right.
Like, I don't take anything personal.
One question that I do have, that, you brought this up, right? You kind of touched on it. You're doing different things. Obviously, you're the man behind the camera.
Producing the podcast,
right? Yeah. How did you even get into, because from everything that we've touched on, cameras and shit hasn't even been brought up. So how the fuck did you learn how to operate obviously, when you think of operating camera, you just click. Right? But there's obviously more to it.
No, there's a lot more to it. Yeah.
It's a whole setup, man. And obviously, I brought you on here because I was like, fuck, this is a dope setup, and I want, continue this with you. But how did you even get into all of this? What
I do now,
what we're doing,
what I edit, I make videos and shit. When I was going through music, someone told me the hardest thing in music is to break an artist, and I was like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna do the hardest thing in music, and that shit's hard. So I'm not doing it right now. But every song needs a visual. Every visual is a video. Every video needs a videographer. And fucking, we were 21, had no money, and was like, how are we gonna come up with $300 to pay for a basic music video? And I was like, man, let me buy a camera. I was like, I got a laptop, I got iMovie, let me try this shit out. And I made my first video, and then I made another video, and then I made a third, and it was all because I was too cheap to pay someone else to make a video. 100%. I was like, I could fucking do it. And I say this all the time, like you can tell I'm passionate about this. Like I do enjoy making the videos and I like doing it to my best, but like I never once ever in my entire life was like, I want to be a videographer or I want to edit videos. That was never my intention, ever. But it really just happened. And like, you know, like I do this and I only help people with videos that I am passionate about, that they see my value. I like what they're doing. I want to bring my skill set. But other than that, like you don't see me advertising that I'm doing music videos. You don't see me advertising that I'm doing whatever. Like it's if I like what you're doing, I like what we got going on. Right. We're going to bring it to the table. I'm going to give you my best every time. Yeah. If I don't, I'm sorry. I'm human, but like, we're coming and we're going to fucking kill it every single time. Yeah. So from there, and then when I got into social media, it was like videos are everything. And then that's when like I started really understanding social media and like how to market a dispensary. Because people don't realize marketing a dispensary is very weird. Like you can go I can go market a flower brand and I'm just pushing the flower and it's all about the flower. Ways to make the flower cool. There's no pool right now when it comes to a retail dispensary. Like I sell the dispensary because I believe that every single person has a relationship with their drug dealer. Doesn't matter what drug it is, every single person has a relationship. So now I want everyone who watches chronic social media to be like, I know that bud tender. Oh, that bud tender was reviewing a joint. Oh, that bud tender was smoking an eighth. Oh, she took a fat ass dab. Or there's a grandpa who took a dab. Like, just showing you how human we are and how much we love the plant, that we're educated on the plant, that we take our time to create this content to educate you. And then, you know, I partnered with fucking athletes. Like I believe like, you know, extreme sports, they should all be sponsored by marijuana companies, by cannabis companies, because they get banged the fuck up, whether it's CBD, whether it's THC. Skateboarders, snowboarders, motocross riders, scooter riders, parkour athletes, like they all, whether they do it openly or they don't, they consume cannabis. Like even jujitsu people, that's a whole nother lane I want to jump into. They smoke weed all the time, and it's because they're getting fucked up all the time. Like, yeah, they got aches, they got pains, they're not just old. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. So that's why I rolled out the athletes, and it was also inspired by Weed Maps. Weed Maps was like the first brand, cannabis brand, to sponsor someone. That's Boo Johnson. So what I do, I go sponsor Boo Johnson's best friend. And I'm like, yo, dog, Slink, you're my guy. Shout out Slink, man, because Slink. So there's, in music, I have some people who are like, you know, they're a rapper's best friend extraordinaire. That's what Slink is. Slink is every fucking skateboarder's best friend. Everyone in Long Beach knows Slink. Everyone loves Slink. And I was like, yo, like, I want to give you free weed in exchange for you just being you. Let's go do some kick flips. Let's go do this. And then also I have a buddy, part of my disabled community. His name's Oscar Loretto. He performed in X Games, competed. His leg and his board are in the Smithsonian. Like, do you realize how crazy that is? His leg, his prosthetic leg, and his skateboard are in the Smithsonian. Like, fucking, I don't know anyone who's done anything as cool as that. Respectfully, like, Oscar's my boy. Like, he's fucking epic. He's also he did sit on the board of USA Skateboarding. He's on the board of the Ryan Sheckler Foundation. He's part of Team Sandlot. He released his own professional deck recently, and it's the leg from Christmas Story, but it's a prosthetic leg. It's fucking hilarious. I'm like, yo, he killed that deck. But I just think that's the future. And like, you know, no one can tell you how to market weed right now. Like, yeah, Cookies has Burner, but what happens when Burner's not there? Yeah, Khalifa Kush has Wiz, but what happens when Wiz is not there? You still gonna pull those numbers? Like, I'm still a firm believer that rappers don't sell weed. And that's from my experience at a retail store. No one's gonna go buy weed because some rapper smokes it. That's me. Someone come for me in the comments. Come for me.
Yes.
Name a fucking rapper that pulls weed. Like, obviously Snoop Dogg or obviously Wiz Khalifa are the only two that can actually do it. Other than that, respectfully, disrespectfully, no one's doing it.
Come for him. He'll answer you back.
Let's go. Let's go.
But you're right though, man. And it's so how a brand that is watching the show, what is one or two free gems that you're gonna drop here that they can do to improve their social media marketing?
Content is king. Video content is king. Content with text, just like this shit that you're seeing right now, that is king, because people don't realize 80% of all videos are watched on silent. They have no volume.
That's true.
So that's why we include the caption in all of our, that's why we do the text in all of our videos, because people read this shit.
Yeah.
And
the second one is be on the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Second one's be on the show. And then it's, be consistent. But what I would really tell someone coming into the space is that, okay, free gems. Pre-rolls, you're not going to make any money. You're going to lose about $1.20 on every fucking pre-roll.
That's so true.
Packs.
I'm glad you said that. Hold on, wait. I'm glad you fucking said that, man, because everyone comes to me because I worked at Lowell, and Lowell was all pre-rolls. They think like pre-rolls is the way, and it's not.
Do the fucking
don't make money on pre-rolls. Don't.
I'll say this again. There's a reason I'm not a cannabis entrepreneur, and it's because the bottom line doesn't match up. When you look at a pre-roll, the bottom line doesn't match up. You're supposed to be making profit on product, and you are losing money. Bottom line. Also, if you are trying to build a model off of distillate, I know this is like 3 years old, but if you're still trying to do that, get with the fucking program. No one, unless you're Stizzy or unless you're someone huge, is selling disty. Stop it. And also, hold on, let's just fucking keep going, man. I'm on a roll. I hope the cameras are rolling, because this is fucking, I got shit to get off my chest, man. Here you go. If you are gonna be putting outdoor weed in your fucking Mylar bags, make sure it's at an outdoor price. That's all I gotta say. If you're selling high-end weed, make sure that it's not in a clear fucking jar and it's not in a Mylar bag.
Why not a clear jar?
You're going to deteriorate. The light deteriorates the weed if it's in a clear jar. Put it in a box or put it in a black jar. It's not that hard.
But what if people want to see it?
Get great education. Educate your bud tenders. Give samples out to all the bud tenders. That's another thing. If you're just launching a brand, you have to prepare at least 2 pounds to the shop, and you're only going to get paid for one. You might not get paid for 180 days, but that first pound that you're getting money on is going to be sold as a BOGO. So 2 pounds out the door, then you're going to have to replenish that. You're still not going to get paid for those 2 pounds, but you're going to have to do that. So now if you do that with one shop, you do that with 5 shops, are you going to be able to keep the quality up there? Are you going to make the deliveries? Are you going to be able to keep the relationships? Are you going to be able to educate the bud tenders? You're probably not.
Are you guys listening to these? Dude, he is dropping fucking game right now, and all you need to do is subscribe.
Yeah, just
subscribe.
Get more. Subscribe.
To get more
fucking
content.
Go follow me on Instagram.
There you go.
I don't put any weed gems on there, but follow me on Instagram.
Oh, that's filthy.
That's filthy too, but follow me.
Stephen J is filthy.
So yeah, man. But this weed game is wild. I don't think it's gonna get better anytime soon. It's only gonna get worse. We also we're navigating a space with a bunch of people who have a lot of money, who don't know where to put it, and are not willing to pay people and trust people of where to put it.
What do you mean by that?
Okay.
Give me an example.
Give you an example.
Yeah.
You have, just big numbers. Well, you have $1 million, and you're gonna try to push your product, and you're gonna try to get it out there. But say someone knows how to enter into a retail store, and you're like, no, we're gonna go for all these deliveries. No, we're gonna go for all this. You need to trust people who have experience in the space, trust people who care and give a fuck about the space. And you have to be about the culture. You have to. If your brand isn't about the culture, your brand isn't connected to the culture, if your brand doesn't resonate with connoisseurs at the end of the day, it's gonna flop. It's gonna flop.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's
man.
True.
And so, like, yeah, dude, I was gonna go into a whole nother thing. Like, perfect example. Okay, yeah, fuck it. There's an example of a brand that they launched with 3 multi-million following artists. Like 3.3 million, 3.6 million, 7 million followers. They tried to do a drop. They tried to do a release. They tried to do a launch, and they fell on their face because they didn't listen to us. They didn't listen to professionals' advice, and they thought they knew what they were doing. And they thought that because these people had millions of followers on Instagram that it was going to correlate and it was going to sell weed, and it didn't. It doesn't. And
I mean, I can see that, like, you at that point they're assuming that those 3 million followers, but they're all smokers. They're all in the community. They're all
in California.
Yeah,
fuck, dude. Right. And none of them are from California. Like that's like little things like that. But you see it all day, and you're gonna continue to see it all day, and it's only gonna get worse. There's only gonna be more celebrities, and like, name how many celebrities have come and gone. There's been a lot. You go to Hall of Flowers. Anyone goes to Hall of Flowers. If you haven't, you can go to Chronic Long Beach YouTube channel and watch like 9 different Hall of Flower recap videos that I've made. But yeah, you see a lot of people that are there that are not there now, and it's only going to get worse. There's a lot of consolidation. A lot of people are just being bought out, partnering up, and that's how you survive. And the only other way, last gem, I promise, if you are not vertically integrated, you're not gonna withstand the storm.
And what does vertically integrated mean?
You got to be able to distribute it. You got to be able to sell it. You don't have to grow it, but you probably got to be able to manufacture it. You got to have those key points. At least those 3. Minimum. At least 3 out of the 4. Minimum.
Because there's 4 licenses here in California.
Yes.
You got, right? There's cultivation, there's manufacturing, distribution, and then retail.
Yes.
Retail, whether it's delivery, straight to consumer, or storefront.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to have at least
3 of the 4.
Not even, you got to have the back end of the 3, right?
Yeah. So it's rough. And then taxes are going to fuck you. Taxes will always fuck you. That's always a great thing you get to look forward to as a cannabis business owner is taxes. It's great. It's lovely, especially when you file taxes and you got to go pay quarterly and you're paying like $60,000 to the city of Long Beach. It's fucking lit.
It's
fucking lit.
It's the best. We haven't even touched banking.
I can't get no more excitement than that right there, buddy.
Can't even bank. I was trying to open up a bank account the other day, and it's like,
yeah, they get pulled. Your money gets stopped, and like
it's insane. Like even just personal, like just personal. Like I just trying to open up a regular business account. The first thing is like your name's gonna get pulled, and if your name's associated to a license, now you're risking any other bank account or any other thing you have in place. Just because you're in the industry, which I didn't realize it like that until
it happens.
It happened. And I was like, fuck. I mean, because it's already bad enough that with our business, we get charged fucking $600-700 a month just to have a bank account.
Yeah. Or if it's not a flat fee, you're getting charged like every transaction.
Yeah.
So like an example, this isn't the situation now, so I feel like talking about it, but there was a bank that we had. Every transaction was 2%. So whether you were dropping off 200,000 or you're dropping off 20,000, they got 20% of that transaction. Deposit or withdraw. Whack.
I hate you.
As being a community outreach in the LBCA, part of my job was going to different neighborhood associations throughout the city of Long Beach and talking to people who either hated cannabis, loved cannabis, or had like a weird perception. So I'm going to talk about 2 examples.
Yeah, shoot.
The first example was I went to a neighborhood association in the North District of Long Beach, and we were giving our speech, and then we were open to questions. And one of the ladies, she was furious. I mean, furious. And this was a Karen. Karen, by definition, I mean, 70-year-old Karen. She was in her prime. And she was like, I don't want a testing lab in my community. And we were like, oh, okay. Like why? And they're like, I don't think people should be coming here into my community and smoking marijuana. And we were like, what are you talking about? And she thought that at a testing lab, you went and tested the cannabis products. So anyone could go in and just take a little hit and just test it out and then go home.
Right.
And we were like, no, that's not how it works. Like, it's a laboratory. And then it was just...
Was she even hearing you out, or that it was just...
Yeah, once she realized, like, no, it's a laboratory. It's a testing lab. Is no cannabis consumptions. We told her that was illegal to consume cannabis on any licensed premise. She goes, oh, okay. Well, then I don't have any questions. I was like,
so all it took was just a little education.
And again, being a broken record for education is the first step toward activism. And that's how you say it sucks, but it's like you educate yourself so that you can have proper education during these micro engagements, micro conversations with people.
Yeah.
You know, as simple as telling someone like, hey, you know, CBD would be a lot better if you have an additional 1-to-1 ratio of THC. It would be holistically, medicinally better for you.
Wait, are you familiar with the whole ratio thing?
For the most part.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of different ratios. There can be 1-to-1, 2-to-1.
What does 1-to-1 mean?
1-to-1 in a layman's term is you're gonna have one CBD molecule to one THC molecule, and they work together. You know, you need a little bit of THC to fully activate the CBD, and then that's going to create the entourage effect where you're going to get all the full the plethora of medical benefits is going to be, you know, activated, and you're gonna get the best out of your product. You know, there's a lot of people who only want THC, a lot of people who only want CBD, but there's beauties in both, and there's beauties when they're mixed together, beauties when they're separated. It's all case by case, and everyone's gonna experience cannabis differently. But you know, you could have ratios of like 19 CBD to 1 THC.
Yeah.
And you're still going to get that little bit of activation from the THC and all those CBD molecules. So they work hand in hand, but there's also CBG, CBN. They all help with different scenarios, and they all are beneficial, but there's like over 100 different cannabinoids.
Right.
That we, again, have not any research on, proper research.
What's your go-to way to consume?
Blunts.
Not
the best. I don't recommend it for anyone. People don't even recommend it for me, but I really enjoy blunts. I enjoy wrapping them in leaves. I'm blessed that I'm not smoking backwoods anymore. I'm onto a cleaner leaf, but I wrap it in a leaf, and I like joints. I like infused joints. Not all infused joints are good. I smoke a lot, y'all. Like I smoke heavy.
No, it's funny because
and the blunts are like, it's only 3.5 in a blunt, like nothing less than a full eighth in a blunt.
I'm laughing because you would think that joints are the money makers because you will have someone like Steven who loves joints, but it's not your money maker.
I roll joints. Like I roll my joints. Like when I first got into the space, like that's a whole nother thing about me as a stoner. So like, I came into the space and pre-rolls were a thing. Like no one was like, you got to roll a joint. Like it wasn't, it took like.
And a little backstory behind that, because obviously like, you know, like I said, the reason why it did take off so fast was because shops were already making pre-rolls.
Yes.
Like pre-ICO, before the rec and all that, and that's
house joints, yeah.
And that's how like Lowell eventually got started, and why it took off so much, because the owner of Lowell was he recognized that, right? He owned the shop, and they were already making them in the back of the store.
Yeah.
And he recognized like, no shit, no one else is really doing this. Let's do it for other people. And that's how the whole, you know, fucking pre-roll game came up that way, you know, back in 2018. Because even then, even like smalls wasn't a thing when you're looking at bulk flower and bulk sales. But because of all the pre-rolls that were starting to come, now smalls became a thing because
people didn't want to shake pre-rolls.
Right.
They wanted to grind up the smalls.
But also the smalls is like, it's just so much easier to start to ground up versus the whole bud. Like there's a whole production thing that came from which created a whole new wholesale product. But just a little backstory on
and it's important because people, again, it's one of the most, especially for new consumers. Like I came in and I was just picking up pre-rolls every day, like boom, 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 just smoking them. But it wasn't until like Pam has never like really talked shit to me, but she would give me shit about not rolling joints. And so I finally got tired of it, and I was like, fuck this roller. I'm gonna roll a joint. And so like for a long time, until probably about like 2 years ago, all of my joints look like little fucking slugs, like little caterpillars, little fucking things, all thick and all stupid. Like,
and if you,
because I roll with thumbs, and it's like.
And if you follow Stephen J is Filthy on Instagram,
follow me on IG.
you'll see all his blunts that he typically rolls at least once every other day. He'll have it on the storyline.
Yeah.
Like straight up. Like, so follow.
It's only when I start posting too many blunts that I'm like, yo, you need to chill, dog. like there was a time that I smoked 5 blunts in a period of 24 hours, and I was like, you just don't need that. Like, you just don't need that much weed. Like, you're just being wasteful. You're financially irresponsible right now. Cut that shit out.
Oh man, you mean you don't get free weed, man?
So I don't get free weed like that. I say I buy 85% of all my cannabis if I'm buying it.
Yeah.
And I only get an employee discount. I don't get a 90% discount. But when my wife was working in inventory, she got all the samples.
Nice.
So for a long time, I was smoking only cannabiotics, only smoking Blem, only smoking Cali Lotus, only smoking what was the other one that's pretty bomb right now is like white sugar. Get a lot of 420 Kingdoms, but for the most part I was blessed and I was smoking higher echelon stuff. That's why I don't like to say I smoke it all in a blunt, because people are like, you don't even taste it, it's not getting the full effects, you're ruining it with tobacco. And I'm just like, fuck you, man, I don't tell you how to smoke. I put mine in a glass tip, I taste everything.
He really does.
Yeah, exactly.
He really does use a glass tip. Your go-to munchie.
My go-to, oh man, I was born and raised on peanut butter and jelly burritos. So you put flour tortilla or corn tortilla, you put a scoop of peanut butter, you smush it, you roll it, it gets all in the tortilla, take a scoop of jelly, roll it, put it on the tortilla, fold the side so it doesn't come out, just like you fold it if you had like butter in it. You fucking eat it, man. Dude, that's my shit, bro. Like, ask anyone. I put on people to peanut butter and jelly burritos all day. I even had peanut butter and jelly pizza at Goofy's Kitchen.
No.
Sup what?
What? That's so... I just can picture that.
It's bomb. It's a comfort food. It's fucking amazing. There's nothing better than that, honestly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. So that's my go-to munchie.
Oh man, you know what you didn't touch on, and it may be irrelevant or not, but you're an alumni of the University of Colorado.
I'm not.
No.
So I didn't talk about my experience at Colorado. No.
But okay, wait, hold on. So
I dropped out of Colorado.
Okay.
So I went right out of high school. I went to the University of Colorado Boulder. I fucking loved that school. I love the campus. I love the city of Boulder. There's a lack of melanin throughout the entire city, throughout the entire state of Colorado, but particularly in Boulder. Again, I was part of the 2% minority there. But Boulder, I went in to study integrative physiology, which is pretty much like pre-med. I wanted to either, be a doctor or go into like sports medicine. And then quickly I was like, I don't want to be pre-med. I was like, I want to do business. And so I switched everything over and was a business major, was in the business school, did all that. The University of Colorado is where I got my first marijuana infraction, my first marijuana ticket. In 2012, this was literally 2 weeks before Prop 64 passed in Colorado, allowing like legal fucking marijuana. Yeah, dude, my DA was like, you're a fucking idiot. And so okay, anyways, speed up. It was, no, he literally was like, you couldn't wait 2 weeks. I'm like, what do you mean? And everyone smokes at Boulder. Like, it's what you do. But it was a blackout game. Every year is a blackout game. It's a football game at night. Everyone wears black and yellow, but it's it's dope. And then everyone gets fucked up. Like, that's the whole point. Blackout. So I'm at the end of my night. It's like 2 a.m. I'm like, man, I want some weed. And at this point, like, I'm just smoking weed. I'm not buying weed like that. I fucking find some kid in a dorm and I pick up $20. And it's in a Ziploc bag. And my dorm was right next to Fair and Field, which is in the middle of the university. A big, beautiful piece of grass and like landscape and everything. And so I'm like, I want to go smoke on Fair and Field in the middle of the night. Me and 2 buddies in the middle of a field. 3 college kids in the middle of the field in a little like little circle. And like, what are you guys doing? So 2 cops rolled up on us and I like shove everything in my pockets, and there's a little corner of the bag sticking out, and the cop goes, what's that? And he's like 10 feet away, flashlight, what's that in your pocket? And I'm like, fuck. I also had a little pipe on me, a little metal pipe, a little one hitter keychain. Thought I was cool. Right. Stupid. So I ended up getting a ticket, and I like to tell this story because my roommate, his name is Austin Coors. He was there with me. He is
no relation to Coors.
No, he's a direct heir to Coors.
Really?
Direct. I mean, he goes to all the family reunions and shit.
Oh shit.
So they're looking at our IDs, school IDs, driver's license, and they go, "Oh, Coors, like the beer, haha." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm direct." He goes, "My grandfather, da 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 da." And they go, "Get the fuck out of here." And I'm just like, "You little bitch, you left me. You left me, Austin."
Wow, Austin. What the
But it's okay.
fuck?
Hey, I would have done the same shit. I ain't even mad at him. I was like, "Get your ass inside." But yeah, so
you touched on the curriculum being held at Long Beach City College. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So,
and what does that look like for folks that are interested in wanting to get into it on the educational side of things?
The Long Beach City College course, the Introduction to Cannabis Industry, is the best resource I can offer anyone who wants to get in the cannabis space. The curriculum was 3 years in the making, and it was a political agenda to get it done because you got to remember, all these schools have federal funding. Cannabis is a federally scheduled drug, a federally illegal drug. So now if you're educating people, do you deserve federal funding? So that's a big thing there, just to put that into perspective. Like, this is the first time we were the first one in a public college in the state of California. Public college. We're not in a university yet, but we're in a public college. Right. There are talks about that. But what it does is this course, it came into fruition because we realized we needed a competent workforce. People think they can come into the industry and just smoke weed all day. You don't need to be educated. You don't need to care. It's fucking chill, man. But it's not like that. It's very stressful. You have to hit deadlines. You can't fuck up because then you could lose someone's license. You have to understand metric. You have to understand track and trace. You have to understand the laws. And a lot of people don't. They just wasn't there. So that's where it came up. And this course, this curriculum, takes you through every single license. It's an 8-week course, twice a week for 2.5 hours. And each course is instructed by a cannabis operator or a deemed instructor. Week 1 is cannabis history, and then cannabis basic science. That's week 1. We tell you everything about the history, why it's illegal, where we were, teach you about the war on drugs, Hemp for Victory, Harry Anslinger, all those fucking assholes. And then you get into some base science. And then we take you step by step from cultivation, manufacturing, distro, retail, metric and waste. And then you have a last one, which is with a lawyer and a HR professional to teach you how to properly write your resume, write a cover letter, include points. Like, a lot of people, you're taught not to include trap experience at a dispensary. Like, leave your traps off your resume. And it's like, no, I need to know that you can do that. I need to know that you've dealt with patients. I need to know that you can operate a POS system or at least handle cash. Like, those are the things that they're looking for. So, like, it's great. And again, I've told people to take the course because they weren't sure if they wanted to get into it. They get into it, they take the course, and they're like, "Oh, it's not for me." And it's like, aren't you glad you spent $420 and learned from professionals that, hey, this isn't for you? $420.
Nice.
And that was done by the college. They thought they were being cute. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope, man. That's cool. I mean, like I said, Long Beach is its own fucking state because a lot of that isn't happening in other cities. I think the only other city that I know has something similar to that is San Francisco with San Francisco City College. Yeah. And they have a course as well.
And there's more popping up all throughout the state. Like, so we had a symposium with the college talking about, we had a student there, we had an HR professional, we had instructors there, and then we had the president of the college board. And we talked about the inception, we talked about what it needs, and there was multiple other colleges that were there that spoke to us after saying, we want to follow up, we want to communicate, we want to see what we can learn, how we can do it, we can collaborate with you, you can collaborate with us. And that's just on like a college, like a college level. There's also universities who are doing the same thing. So yeah, it's great.
Another question I had for you, man, with, we've been talking a lot about, tapping into the industry. One of the things we didn't touch on was social equity. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think about what social equity means to you and what it means to, like, in terms of tapping into the industry through social equity.
Yeah. So I 1000% believe that people who were affected by the war on drugs should have a right to, one, not be imprisoned, shouldn't be in jail, and then two, have the opportunity to operate in this space. I do believe that. You know, I am 100% Mexican. I'm born and raised in the ghetto. I 100% qualify for social equity. My big issue is that people think that just because there's social equity, just because these cities have these fake programs set involved, that they're going to get help, and they're not. And they think that they can come, people think that you can come into this cannabis industry with zero business experience, zero business ownership experience, zero business operation experience, and think you're going to fucking, you know, make generational wealth. Like, no, you're fucking not. You're going to lose millions of dollars in the way. I believe that social equity would be the best, would most benefit people if it was real peer education, peer guidance. Giving someone money is going to be cool, but you have to remember, Scooby talked about this, whatever grant money you get from the city, doesn't matter what city, is going to go fucking pay rent. It's going to go straight to your landlord. Mm-hmm. I know social equity people that have been paying rent for years. Someone just said, "Oh, just in Long Beach, they were trying to get a retail. They were paying for the retail location for a year. They have all their permits. They have everything like this, and now they're like, oh fuck, we're out of money." So yeah, you spent it all on your landlord. He has it all, and that's straight from the city. And the city thinks that, that there's not predatory practices from everyone. Everyone is a predator. The landlords are a predator. Yep. Other big business operators are a predator. Here's the big thing. And again, this doesn't happen just in Long Beach. This happens everywhere. But I'm a social equity applicant. I'm a social equity operator. Danny is a big retail chain, huge retail chain. You're going to give me this opportunity, and I'm going to run your delivery service. I'm going to run it for 3 years. It's mine. I'm going to operate it, blood, sweat, tears, everything. But in 3 years, when you don't make those goals and you are failing by the book, when your line is red, go kick rocks. And you, as a social equity applicant, just put in all your sweat to something that wasn't yours. And here's another thing. There's fucking social equity assholes who are taking up social equity spaces, getting licenses, and then selling them to big corporations and going to city to city. And they're doing it for as little as 50,000 or doing it as much as $1 million. Yeah, and they don't give a fuck. And that's the thing. Yep. Is like, there's people who are passionate about the plant, people who consume the plant, people who appreciate the culture, and they want to get this opportunity to do it. But it's people who are chasing their nut and only give a fuck about their nut. And that's my issue with social equity, and that it's not set up, it's not going to win, and there's people who are being used, and there's people who don't give a fuck about other social equity people. That's my thing. Yeah. Do I think that more black and brown people should be operating? Fuck yeah, of course. Do I bitch that there's not a black and brown dispensary owner in certain cities? No. Why? That's because they have the money. I don't have the money. I'm a social equity person. I don't got the money. They got the money. They won. That's business. Don't take it so fucking personal.
Yeah, I can see that. And, you know, and from just like being in the industry, like I've seen a lot of owners that, you know, you hear about, and this is probably controversial as fuck too. No, it's okay. Right? But you hear a lot of people say like it's white, a lot of white owners and operators. But at least here in SoCal, at least here in the Valley, a lot of the owners and operators are Armenian. Like North Hollywood is a lot of Armenians. What the point that I'm making is that I don't see that many white operators here in the Valley. At least that I've been in like business with, in communication with. I haven't seen that many personally. Yes, they may be out there for sure. I just personally haven't seen that many out here in the Valley.
For sure.
Where I'm at, and with folks that I've been doing business with. So take that however you want.
No, yeah, but I wish there was more, you know, we're Latino. I wish there was more community within the Latino community besides being like, oh, you're Latino. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean,
because like there's also like, oh, I'll help you because you're brown, but like I'm not really gonna help you.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, those that know that.
Yeah,
I've always helped.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
you always show love.
But yeah, but also in talking with the people that I do help, I also hear that they're actually fucking surprised that I'm fucking willing to help.
Yeah.
Or follow through with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like straight up, like others are like, nah, fuck this.
Just to give some light to my homie Danny, like that toy drive you did, I would not have signed up to go pick up toys all throughout the state of California. You are a better person than I am.
Oh, yeah,
but like it's little things like that. Like it may not be big, but that significantly helps someone's operation, and they put their trust in you, and you followed through.
Yeah.
You delivered. And that's what a lot of this industry is about. If you can deliver, you'll live. If you don't deliver, you're going to get cut.
Straight up.
Or if you recommend some trash, you're never going to get called back.
That's true too.
That's why be very selective when you're recommending bulk out there, y'all.
That's true too. That's a whole different episode. Fuck, man. But with that being said, man, do you have any last minute shout outs? There's so much that we could have touched on, but
yeah. Always shout out my wife, my daughter, shout out my parents, shout out fucking ownership at Chronic, ownership at LBCA, shout out you, shout out Said Connects platform. And you know, I'm gonna do a Snoop Dogg moment, but shout out me.
oh yeah.
Nah, but it's you know, I don't do this shit alone. No one does anything alone. If anyone says they do anything alone in cannabis, they're lying. I have a team who I love, I have a team who loves me, and a team that's got each other's back. That's the best way to put it. You got to have each other's back. And so shout out to all my people. You know who you are. And yeah, man, go smoke some tree.
That's right. And
hit us up. Be on the podcast. You want to sponsor a podcast? Hit us up. You want to edit a podcast? Hit me up. You want to shoot a podcast? Hit me up. I mean, our podcast, not a new one. Shoot our podcast. Hit me up. And subscribe, y'all. Here's one thing. I want to say this publicly. I believe, and why I'm involved with Said Connects is because I believe that Said Connects can be the main source of cannabis information for people who want to get into this cannabis space. I know there's a lot of podcasts who interview people for how famous they are, how cool they are, but what I love is that we give real experiences that can save someone a lot of money. And that's like, if we can't give people money, if we can save them money, that's just as valuable.
That's true.
And that's why I'm here at Said Connects, and that's what I believe in this podcast. So we ain't going anywhere.
Sheesh.
And if you're in another state too, let's go.
Let's figure that out.
Let's go.
We'll figure out a way to make it happen. Straight up, man.
Danny will put it on the Said card. Don't even trip.
That's right. That's right. We got it. My shout outs, man, as always, my 3 little girls, Rosie, Dalia, Faith. I love you girls. We just had birthdays.
Happy birthday.
All of them just had a birthday, man. 14, 4, and 1. So I love you girls. Happy birthday. And with that being said, check y'all out.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Bye, bye, bye.